Catholics and Muslims conspire to make the world a dangerous place for everyone else. They both believe in prophecy. Armageddon is one of those prophecies they feel obliged to believe and help fulfill. Catholics and Muslims are excited by the prospect of World War III because with God's help, they both expect to win. The end of the world is preferable to having to admit the Creator is a lie and an invention and their religion is a scam. As I like to say, what is the point of creationist religion if God did not create the universe? Christians and Mohammedans consistently escalate ethnic hatred into international conflict. Every day there is something in the news to remind us of the hate they have for each other. Humanists like me get caught in the crossfire and I am fed up with it. Catholics and Muslims both claim religious supremacy and indoctrinate their respective faith families with contempt for the other side. Mohammedans even claim they have a God-given right to kill non-Muslims. When a Mohammedan exercises the right to kill someone for being a non-Muslim, it is a method of redemption. He or she becomes a true and full Muslim with a story to tell. Catholics and Muslims cannot trust each other because deep down they know their peculiar God demands the whole world. Each sees the other religion as sin, and sin keeps God at a distance. The socio-spiritual welfare of the community depends on the whole community propitiating the Creator. Society needs to be purged and Sharia law introduced as quickly as possible. Or in the case of Catholics, church law. Catholics and Muslims exploit wars they create. Who can forget the sight of Russian priests employed to bless tanks and fire trucks? Some blame Catholics for starting the interfaith wars. They will never be forgiven for the Crusades. Jihad is forever. Mohammedans wrote war into their constitution in the form of a patriotic war. Islamic governments can demand their people sacrifice comforts and necessities in preparedness of war. They can demand individual freedoms be suspended for defense of the realm. Stalin borrowed the idea of a patriotic war from the cult of Muhammad. Putin was able to justify Stalin's patriotic war and start a real one by finding a fascist hiding underground in the sewers of central Odessa. In the same sense, Catholics will always be a future threat to Muslims. The only solution is to keep Catholics and Muslims apart. Each ideological base must respect the other's territory. Each must stay on their side of Israel. Christians in the West and Muslims in the East. The great crime against humanists is to put Muslims and Christians next to each other. It will become like Bradford, where the police admitted defeat and refused to police Muslim enclaves. The army was conspicuous by its absence. Government inertia gave rise to grooming gangs running rampant and raping on an industrial scale. It was like they were using sex for a weapon. It was a long October 7th for the little girls of Bradford. I am glad to report that none of this affected King Charles and those people who thought it a good idea to give parts of England to Muslims. Anyway, I want to talk about the Catholic and Muslim conspiracy. Jesus of Nazareth said he was God, but creationists refuse to accept this because it threatens their existence. There is no such thing as a creator God if God is a man, if God is born of woman, if Christ after the flesh is Christ as he is. The idea that Jesus of Nazareth is God is nothing short of an existential crisis for the faith fiends. The only thing for creationists to do was to downgrade God to Messiah. It suited both faiths to project Yahweh Christ not as God, but as Messiah. The consequence of the conspiracy is that Catholics and Muslims stay relevant. We have known about Yahweh Christ since 2016. Catholics and Muslims are living on borrowed time, courtesy of brainwashed congregations. Their so-called Word of God is the Word of the Creator, which is a philosophical entity. The Word of God is therefore a philosophical treatise. Stephen Hawking said it best, philosophy is dead. Christians and Muslims are a threat to non-believers because there is one thing they do without a second thought. They institutionalize their respective God delusion like it is the most natural thing to do.